Good morning, fourth graders. Hope you guys had a great weekend. We are going to continue with The Young Man in the Sea. We're about halfway through. We're on chapter 14 today. It's called By Hook and by Crook. Next couple of weeks, I work on finding my lost traps. Captain Kielson's idea about the grapple helps. What you do is tie the grapple. It's like a big fish hook with 4 barbs to a length of rope. Then pull it along the bottom until it hooks on something. Might be a trap. Might be an old boot or a tire or a plastic milk crate or a clump of seaweed. All kinds of junk on the bottom. Once I find this old television all clotted with mud. Take it to Dev Murphy at the bait house. He puts the receiver up to his ear and goes, "I hear the ocean." Sometimes if it's in a shallow spot and the water is flat calm, you can see the trap down there. Sometimes a lost trap comes up clicking with lobster. More often it don't. Anyhow, I got nothing better to do. Stripers are running, but somehow it don't seem right, taking time off for fun. Not until I get the traps back. Of course, I can't locate them all. Tide or current has shifted them, or I don't recall exactly where I set them. Figure out of 200 traps, I'll get back half eventual. Dev thinks I should rig out and put them back in the water, but what's the point? I know Tyler. He won't quit on this. He come by in his whaler to tell me so. Parker Beale is with him. Parker don't say nothing. He just tries to look tough and laughs at everything Tyler says, like that's his job. "Hey, Stinky," Tyler shouts, keeping well away in case I try to ram him with the skiff. "What you doing, lobster boy?" "What's it look like?" "Looks like you're trolling for more stupid junk to put in your stupid junky shack. Drag long enough, you'll probably find an old toilet seat for your outhouse." Matter of fact, I had pulled up a toilet seat, but threw it back. He must have seen me from the shore. "Go away," I say. "Leave me alone." "It must really suck being you, Skiffy. How do you stand it?" "Come in a little closer, I'll tell you." He laughs. Parker laughs too, of course, but he don't know why exactly, except Tyler wants him to. "Later, lobster boy." Then the whaler zooms off. I'm still mad, but it's a deep mad now, not on the surface, so I can stand it without my ears getting hot whenever I think about what he done and what he keeps on doing. Sometimes I wonder why he hates me so. I never did nothing mean to Tyler, but he's always been at me, since back when his dad and my dad were friends. Got so miserable on the school bus with him pulling my ears and singing that song he made up that I took to riding my bike. My mom used to say he'd grow out of it, but he just grew meaner and meaner. You ever seen where someone will take a magnifying glass and try to focus the sun on a fly until it burns, just because they want to hurt something and they got nothing better to do? Feels like Tyler's the sun and I'm the fly. One day I'm going by the Fish CoOp when a big sport fishing boat is unloading. Not Fin Chaser, or I wouldn't have gone in close. Some fancy boat I never seen before. There's a whole crowd standing around and jawing, so I tie up to see what all the fuss is about. "Will you look at that fish?" somebody says and then whistles. 410 pounds. The boat captain has a big ice chest open and he's letting folks admire his fish. It's a giant bluefin tuna like my dad used to harpoon. 7 feet long and built for speed. "Now that is a beautiful animal," the captain says, showing it off like a fancy sports car. "See the big tail? Bluefin can flick its tail back and forth 30 times a second. That's faster than the eye can see. Turbocharged thruster. See these dorsal fins? How they fold back into a groove? That decreases drag, increases efficiency. Even has special eyelets to make it move faster through the water. Gills have ram ventilators for increased oxygen. Strong, rapid heart for power. Warm-blooded so it's quick. How quick? Bluefin can hit 50 miles an hour. It can leap 15 feet into the air. It'll swim 2,000 miles to feed on a particular school of fish at a particular time of year. When the good Lord created fish, he reached perfection with the bluefin tuna. This is the fish of all fishes, the king of fish, the queen of the 7 seas." Folks are mighty impressed that he knows so much, but the captain, the tall, skinny guy with a sunburn, he laughs it off. "Don't get me wrong, I'm no expert. Got it all off the internet. Easy as falling down." "How many you catch so far this year?" someone asks. "How many? Why, this is the first tuna I ever caught in my life." "You serious?"
Serious as a heart attack.
How'd you hook it then?
Pure luck, he admits. I was bottom fishing for cod out near Jeffrey's Ledge when a whole school of tuna swam by, feeding on mackerel. Luckily, I happened to have the big reel on board. Threw out a chunk of bait and wham! Hit it like a locomotive. All I did was hold on until it got tired. Fish did all the work.
He shows off the fancy rod and reel that whipped the fish. Nice. How much a rig like that cost? The captain shrugs like he's embarrassed to mention the price.
These are expensive. Reel is $1,000. Rod $500. But worth every penny.
He's about ready to tell the story of catching the tuna all over again, for anybody who didn't hear it the first time, when Mr. Nagahachi, the fish buyer, shows up. He's this short, stocky Japanese guy with shiny black hair and a big smile. I seen Mr. Nagahachi checking out tuna before, when my dad was fishing. What he does is make a couple of cuts to see the quality of the meat, and then he uses a little tool to take a sample of the fat content. That helps him set the price. If he buys the fish, he'll pack it in ice and send it overnight by air to Japan for auction at the Tokyo Fish Market tomorrow. 10 minutes later, Mr. Nagahachi tells the captain he'll buy the whole fish for $16 a pound, cash or certified check. $6,560 for one fish that got caught by accident? Folks on the wharf were shaking their heads in amazement. Happens all the time, but it's still amazing that one fish can be worth so much just because people on the other side of the world like to eat little bits of it raw on a mound of sticky rice. You know what it's like? Somebody says. Like winning the lottery, only more fun. Don't kid yourself, George, a friend of his says. That boat cost $500,000 if it cost a penny. You heard how much he paid for the rod and reel? The guy called George goes, Who says you have to spend that much? You heard the man. He wasn't even looking for tuna. It came right up to his boat and asked to be caught. Think about it. That's like finding money on the sidewalk. Why don't you do it then, George? Get yourself a boat and hook up a tuna. Maybe I will, says George. Next year. I knew it, says his buddy, grinning. All talk, no action. I wait around until most of the crowd gets bored and goes away. Until Mr. Nagahachi has got the big tuna loaded into his van and packed in ice for the trip to the airport. Excuse me, I go. Can I ask you a question? He nods, looks like he's trying to place me. You pay that much for tuna tomorrow or the next day? I ask. Depends on fish, he says. Sometimes more, sometimes less. How much less? $8 a pound for skinny fish. 18 for nice fat fish. Thanks. Where's Big Skiff? You his son, am I right? He's sort of retired for a while. Retire? He young man. Too young to retire. Big Skiff, he the best harpoon. Always strike good fat fish. Tell him I say hi, okay? Sure, I say. I'll tell him. I mean it, too. But when I get home, Dad is passed out on the couch with a whole new load of empty beer cans. Maybe he used to be the best, like everybody says. But right now he couldn't catch a tuna if it jumped in his lap. But I'm thinking maybe I can. So what's your prediction as we close out chapter 14? What's your prediction that is Skiff going to go after the tuna? How would he catch it if he does catch one? Do you think he will, or will he make his money a different way? Leave your always great comments below, and I look forward to hearing from you. See you later.